Hi, welcome to the replacement of the valve cartridge or valve body in the MOEN 4600 bathroom faucet. If your faucet looks like this and it's a MOEN, and on the inside it says MOEN here and 4600 here, then this is the video for you to see how to put this cartridge back in place. This is the old one that we removed. This is the one we got at Home Depot, part number 1225. If you open it up, you notice it matches, so we can take that and move it out of our way. You'll notice there's a nice set of instructions in here, which if you have this faucet, is useless, which is why we're doing the video. The first thing you're going to want to do is take the valve cartridge and insert it into the valve body so the two tabs are evenly spaced on each side of this slot. Let's see, tab. Try to get it as close to the center as possible. When you get it close, you'll want to use a tool to push it down like a screwdriver carefully. Okay, I use a straight bladed screwdriver here and make sure you seat it and you're good. Make sure that the shaft isn't pushed down. It can interfere. Okay, so if you look inside, you should have an even gap on both sides of that valve body, on the valve cartridge to the valve body. If you have a jeweler's screwdriver or something and you need to adjust, you can adjust it. Otherwise, you're going to grab this with a pair of pliers, pull it out, and put it back in. Okay, now I have the parts I need to assemble, by the way, in order. So the next thing we're going to do is take the valve body and install it into the faucet housing. And then we're going to put on this plastic collar. We're going to lock it in place with this U-clip. Install this washer on the shaft. And then install this collar, which holds the handle that makes the valve operate. And then we'll mount the handle to that. And then we'll put the bottom of the housing on and we're done. Okay. So the next step will be to put this into the valve housing. Like so, and it just sits there. And the next step, we'll take the plastic sleeve with the tab facing towards the back of the faucet and to push it on. And you'll notice there's a slot, and that should line up exactly with the slot in the valve cartridge. And then you take this U-clip and you push it in, and if we've lined everything up right, it will slide all the way in. If it doesn't, you can try wiggling the collar a little and see if that works. And if that doesn't work, we might, there we go, we got it lined up, it goes in. If it doesn't work, you could pull it off, check your alignment of the slot, and go on from there and start over. Okay, so once the U-clip is in place, the next thing we're going to want to do is to take these three components, which is, or are, excuse me, the chrome collar, a spring steel tension washer, and this gray plastic sleeve, and we're going to slide it in on top. The chrome piece is held in place by the gray sleeve, which screws onto that white collar. So if you start screwing to the right, you turn it gently, you'll feel it start to click. Keep turning. You should not take a great deal of pressure. You're going to take a little bit more. You'll feel it break and click, and then it'll just stop. And then you're done. It's just hand tight. Okay? That's all we're doing. All right. Next, we'll take this washer and we're going to put it on this shaft. And you notice the washer is keyed and will only fit one way. And that's the way we're going to put it on. There we go. Okay. Now, if you look at the shaft, you'll notice there's two flat sides. One is a little wider than the other. You'll want to take your pair of pliers. In this case, I have vice grips, but any needle nose or small pair of pliers, very gently, you'll want to turn the wider, both flat sides so they're across the faucet, 90 degrees to the faucet. And you want to find the wider flat side and have it face you. And that's important because this piece is going to orient to that. Okay? So, what we're going to do is you're going to pick up this piece. And this is a little piece that makes the handle work. And you're going to want to make sure the tab is facing up towards you, or excuse me, away from you. okay? And that the little plastic thing is tipped back, and that this tab underneath is closest to you, and the white or flat spot is closest to you. And what's going to happen, we're going to slide the tab into this groove, and then we're going to slide this plastic thing over the shaft. Once we get those two pieces in place, again, start out looking like that, put in the tab, and then gently push this down until everything lines up. At this point, you need to hold it together, and to do that will be this Phillips screw, goes in the center. Okay. So be sure to keep everything in place and seat this Phillips screw. Again, you don't need to use a lot of torque. When it hits bottom, you're good. Don't strip the Phillips screw. Alright, now this valve should turn 180 degrees, and with pressure it should tip up and back, which will operate the valve, and the handle will give you more leverage. So next we're going to install the handle. To do that, you're going to take the handle facing the front. You can have the tab. I recommend in this case you turn the valve so it's 90 degrees away from the faucet towards you, and then it'll be easier to slide on there. You'll grab your 3/32 hex Allen screw, and you can start to thread it on there, and then you can use your 32-second hex Allen wrench to seat it. When you seat this, it's a long screw and it has quite a bit of thread, so it takes a bit, and you'll need to seat it all the way. Again, nothing in the assembly of this requires any high torque. As a matter of fact, hand tightening is best. Once it hits bottom, give it just a little bit to make sure it's on the bottom, and you're done. Okay, there. And with Allen screws, I then take it and put the short side in. Maybe. Or maybe this way. And then, boom. Okay, so that's in. We take the MOEN logo, little cap, and we insert that into the hole. You may find a jeweler's screwdriver or a small screwdriver useful to help you put that in place. Okay, and then you can take the back of another screwdriver and seat it. Okay, and your faucet should look like that, and we're almost done. We're not done, but we're almost done. Okay, and we're just going to put the back of the faucet on, which goes on like that. Flip that guy around like that, and we're going to lay this guy on top so he goes over the valve body, and that tab holds that, holds the bottom in place. And then we're going to just start these screws. These are Phillips self-starting screws. We'll get it started on that side, and then we'll get it started on this side. And we'll snug it up and snug it up. Check this side, we should be good. Okay, and the bottom's in place, and our faucet should work. We're done. We're ready to install the faucet. I'll let somebody else explain how to install a faucet. It's pretty standard for all faucets. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.